Hello everyone, this is the after work study session, our miniature workshops on the day. Today is September the 23rd. It is a Monday. We've had some very interesting market action, and what I want to do is continue to help folks make money with these spreadsheets. And so what we're going to talk about is Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, and we are going to look at Chihu a bit, but that one is going to take a little bit of a while for me to sort through mechanically. So now is not a good day for that. All right, so let's take a look at it. We had the short open up below 81.56. I am going to minimize this and read it from another screen. Let's use this. Right. And let's put our default study on here. All right, so we've got our pivots, daily, weekly, monthly. The smaller the P, the shorter the time frame, of course. And so the original trade was at the loss of 81.56. Now, we can see that that is below this wick, and certainly coming into the monthly pivot. A lot of times, if we lose the 200 and the 50 and we're sitting underneath the VWAPs, there is no support left at that monthly pivot. However, this did hold briefly before moving downward. Now, ultimately, I do believe we should still be short. Let's expand this a little bit. The reason being that I estimate that there is more of a retracement coming. And so let's do this. Let's take care of this retracement edge. Whoa. Guess what I just saw? Hang on a second. Okay, let's see if these parameters work. And we're not done yet, but let's go to the Gartleys, and we don't want a deep one. Let's look at this bat. No. Let's do the regular bat. Okay, so let's see if this is a bat. What do you know? Well, would you look at that? All right, so this is a bat. Now, for those of us that are not familiar with these formations, please don't worry about that. I just saw it and thought, I bet that's what we're looking at. And so it does seem to be doing that. Now, whether it moves, notice, see how this is here and that is there. There's not, what's the word? Symmetry in the formation. See, if it had come to here or maybe down in here we might have had ourselves a little bit more symmetry, but nevertheless, this is what it is. I estimate that we are looking at some kind of formation like this. It could stop here easily because the 200 is sitting here, all right? But that's not really what we're talking about. What we're talking about is trading these level events and what we need to focus on when we're working through the charts. I don't know where those disappear from. Okay, great. All right, so here's the thing. I've been going through the charts, and what I notice is that the conditional trading event is doing one of two things. When the chart is absolutely in free fall, it does a great job getting us in and taking us into targets, which we did. We got into, it went through all of the targets I set for us, every single one of them. The next one I had was 77.10, and then after that 76.40 and 75.60. Just out of curiosity, 75.60. All right, that still gives us a little bit of space. Now, what I want to talk about today is, when do you set up these conditional trades, and is this actually the proper time to do it? Here's the thing. If I had not used conditional trades on the last 5 or 6 trades, I would have been better off if I had just set the trigger, waited for it to confirm, and then taken the trade. Because I think maybe 4 times, let me look. 1, 2, 3. 3 times. 3 times this chart got me into spaces that I should not have been because I took the conditional entry. Facebook took the conditional entry, really suffered a loss there. The next one was Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, the long calls. Those did not confirm either. And then Jazz also did not confirm. So we've got those 3 losses there, 3 entries for the space. And did anything happen over here? Looking at gold. Coach, that one also did not confirm. So that one gave me trouble. And Broadcom also did not confirm. And if it had not been for, those are 5 trades. All 5 of those trades, we could have either waited and gotten in at a better price, or not gotten in at all if we'd been paying attention to the conditional entries. Using the conditional entries as a trigger, or in fact using the aggressive entries as the price points that we wanted to enter in. So that begs the question for us, what is it that we need to do here? So here's my advice at this particular juncture. What I'm going to try to do is figure out where the aggressive entry can sort of mesh with the regular entry and give us a better move. Now listen, folks, these are not, I have 3 trades that went bad, right? Since the month began, 3 trades out of the silver have gone bad. 2 trades out of the gold have gone bad. This is not a train wreck event, but what this is something that is unusual to me, right? I do not normally have this happening, and so what I want to do is make sure that while it's happening, for whatever reasons going on in the market, that you guys really step back and say, wait a second, I've got to let this price point confirm. If it goes by you, guess what? There's another trade there. All right? There's another trade sitting in the chart for you that you can go get, or you can wait on the next one. Don't get into a space where you are totally focused on, I've got to have a trade, because sometimes you just can't trade all the time. And I know a lot of us don't really want to get that, but it is absolutely true. Sometimes the market's just not worth trading. Well, other people are making money. That's perfectly fine, right? Sometimes the rhythms are not nice, and we're looking for nice rhythms that give us high probability. Okay, so the big thing that I want to share with you here is at this particular time in the market, watch for those conditional entries. Allow them to trigger, but don't take the conditional trade right now. All right? What I have to do now is write a blog post that says, hey, listen, I'm not taking the conditional trades right now because I want them to confirm, right? And that makes things really difficult for Joe person who has a job and is setting these things up before he or she goes. And I have a lot of silver members like that. So that's going to make for a little bit of a trying time for them. But for you, most of you are trading day in, day out. What I'm saying is when the trigger goes, watch it confirm. Here's something else. Let's go to Chihu really quickly, and then I'll come back to Green Mountain Coffee Roasters. In Chihu today, when we had the breakdown, right? We had this break here at 84.80, right? The aggressive entry was 87, the loss of 87. Now, here's what, and of course this is the beginning of the day, all right? Here's something else I would like to suggest. Work on easing in 1/4 size at the aggressive entry point. If you say, gosh, I just take one size, wait until it loses the level. That's all I can say about that. But if you really want to use this silver membership properly, the aggressive entry here, you can see why I've got it sitting here. It's the base of the gap, right? So if it rejects 87, it's inside the gap. And so that 85.96 is going to be that first space, and it might bounce very hard there. So that's the reason that I go, hey, listen, that's a conditional event. All right? So if I say conditional, I mean aggressive entry event. Focus on that aggressive entry event. If you just normally take two options and you take one at the aggressive entry, when things come down and start to pop, you are going to be in much better shape. All right? Here, the trade opened up on the normal entry below 84.80, all this congestion, right? Waiting for that breakdown of congestion. And what did it do? It actually went down into the base of the next level of congestion, right? Now, here's the thing. I had 83.10 as the target the first time. The new blog post has 83.40 because we are working through those particular spaces. Now, the baseline here shows clearly that it's stopping at the base of this event. So another thing for you to do as you develop, because a platinum member is the member who is saying, I want to be a master trader. I don't just want to take trades. So being in line with that master trader mindset, look to the left yourself and see, wait a second, that's bouncing. Should I take something off of that? If something begins to bounce aggressively and you can see a line in the sand of buyers, nothing's wrong with taking profit. All right? And indeed, if we had done that, I mean, I have, what did I have? I had 87.40 as the stop, right? And so look at this. Here's another reason that this one is just so expansive. It's in a megaphone, right? It's in a descending wedge, expanding wedge instead of one that's contracting. So this one is giving us very wide angles, which is why it came all the way back up to here and then reversed. The reason I have another short getting ready to go for Chihu is because this formation is still negative. Look, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. As long as I lose these guys, I am more than likely going to break this level. Okay, so tomorrow, if you took it and you got stopped out and your feet are cold, listen, it's just something that happens. The market is, particularly some of these stocks that we're watching, they're just getting much more volatile, right? The VIX was up 8% today, so that's a lot of new volatility, right? So this is expanding. If we wait for it to break, listen, the message is the same. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, telegraphing that lower low. And we can at least take it into this space. So don't get yourself into a space where you go, man, I just lost on that. I don't want to get in there again. That's not going to be the most wise thing for you to do right there. Okay, so setting that up for us, and it is already in the silver. So let's get back to Green Mountain Coffee Roasters. And now we are saying, all right, I got stopped out because I did what the chart says to do. That it means pull it in to 2 targets away, right? If it starts moving down, I want to pull it in 2 targets away. So for instance, let's open this back up. Here we have Green Mountain Coffee Roasters. All right, there we go. I shifted it to 78.35. It stopped shy of 77.10, right? So it didn't quite get to this third level, but I shifted it here. And really, it's just as well because it did go ahead and breach all the way back up into my first target, right? And then reject it. Now, if you did not do this, you are still in this trade. I stopped out of this trade, just did not, just moved and got stopped out on that very last piece. So what to do about getting back in, since it does look like it's going to have these lower levels? Here's what we have to do again. That's a 15-minute. We can't use a 15-minute to stage a swing. Many times what we end up doing when we set our charts up is really the wrong thing by looking at a swing event on a time frame that is much too narrow. And sometimes an hourly chart is too narrow. Most of the time, though, it does give us what we need to know. Here's why I still have Green Mountain Coffee Roasters blank. If indeed this chart has come in to the 4-hour 200, or right, it's come into the 4-hour 200, or it's actually at a termination point for this bat, then we really do have to decide, okay, is this going to run up or not? So if we have a short, it's got to be below a level that is important to this space. Now we could look at the wicks and go, wow, you know what, that's probably it. But to me, it seems like the hold of this pattern, the candlestick close of that pattern, 78.36, should trigger that front end event and not bounce further up and stop us out. Okay, so if we can see that on the 4 hour, I know I'm going to set that portion of it up, right? I can say 78.36 as my short. Where might my aggressive entry be? Well, this region here seems a lot like the breakdown space, which it was. That was where we entered the short, essentially, just below that. So if it comes up there to test it and then rejects it, it should be a pretty valid space. So we're going to move it up into this relative space, and we're going to say, hey, the rejection of 81.60 is the aggressive entry. Now here's what you have to pay attention to. If we choose a short with an aggressive entry at a level that is above it, we must wait for the definitive break of that level, not just go short conditionally at that space. When we stage a short that is sitting above the price point, a different kind of mechanism gets kicked in, because this could easily recover and have us go right back up into this congestion. So it's worthwhile for us to watch it fail and not take it right at that event, but watch it reject that event and then come down past a wick or two, right? Maybe 81 or something like that. If you do take that aggressive trigger, you want to take it smaller size, quarter size or less, and you want to make sure that it does not move against you in the short order. Because if it moves against you, it means that the buyers have decided to pile in here and push it up into the next relative resistance area, which is going to be all the way up here at 84. Okay? So if you choose it, watch it reverse, else get out of there very, very quickly, and then let it run up into this space. If it begins to fail again, you have that opportunity to go short if these formations look like this. If you're still sitting under the weekly VWAP, if you're still sitting under the monthly VWAP, if you're still sitting under the 50, under the 200, and you're approaching that 10, all of that is negative price action that you can follow very, very neatly into, maybe it comes into this 75.42. I have 75.60 as the last line in the sand there. All right? So that's what I wanted to talk to you about in terms of the setup. I wanted you to see mechanically what do I do when I say, hey, listen, here's the aggressive entry and here is the regular entry. Start looking at that aggressive entry. Notice, where did my aggressive entry hold? I had below 84.80. Where's 84.80? No, I'm looking at the wrong chart. Sorry. 82.92. I'm like 84.80. 82.92. Right down here. Why would I choose this level to take the aggressive short? Because it's gotten through all of this noise. Now you might say, shouldn't the aggressive short be the break right here? Yes, except buyers could be hiding here, and that's not past aggressive, that's dice rolling. When you do that, that really is dice rolling. But it worked out. Sometimes the dice roll in your favor. That's all there is to that. But for me, the aggressive entry will come after the clearing of this congestion event. The conservative entry, usually the area that we can add, will come after secondary support is broken. Okay? Does that make sense? In terms of you setting up your own trade, saying, hey, where is it that I need to put this? Why is this an aggressive entry? Where should my regular entry be? And sort of frame that out. If you become more structured in your own approach to trading, you are going to develop stronger skills in faster fashion. All right? So hopefully that's it. Anybody have any questions? I will wait for a couple of moments. Yes? Nothing? Nothing? All right. Well, for those of you that are more experienced, this should have been, probably you already do this. But if you get into a space where you absolutely put your trades down and you say, above this I do this, below this I do this, and you do not veer away from your plan, you will end up very green most of the time. All right? Very green most of the time. Right now, we're in a space where we are seeing jagged expansion. This chart moved almost exactly the same way Baidu's chart looks the same way. It's an expanding wedge that is moving downward and widening. And that makes for very difficult spaces. It's almost like trading in a megaphone, right? Only it's not, well, it doesn't form like a megaphone, but it is essentially that. Do you know what I mean? So for you as a trader, start looking at these aggressive entries, start pacing it out. If you want to say, hey, listen, I know this is a new mechanic, paper trade it and watch it work. I have a good idea of what it is I need to tweak. For the charts that haven't triggered, I'm going to go back, shift the regions if they need to be shifted, and then we'll come back hard at it. All right? So that's it. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.